Giants lose to the Rays 3-0 and lose the series, so they're still searching for their first series win of the 2019 season. This is Giants Roundup. It is Sunday, April 7th, 2019. Murphy's Law. It is Giants Roundup. It is Sunday, April 7th, 2019. Game 3 of a 3-game series. You can follow on Twitter, Facebook. Most importantly, please be kind and hit that subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up. And yeah, the Giants, this was not a good day for the Giants. Tampa Bay's just a better team. They've got better pitching and they've got the better hitting, and they just simply outplayed the Giants today. And they just simply come up short in this. Whereas the Giants only muster 5 hits today, 2 of them coming from Youngurvis Solarte, who could be in line actually to earn some more playing time. Who might start taking time away from Joe Panic if he cannot start hitting soon. Joe Panic falls back below the Mendoza line at a $1.92. Pomeranz not the greatest of starts today. He goes only 4 innings, surrenders 6 hits, allows 2 earned, walks 3 batters. So yeah, they did work Pomeranz today. He did limit the damage, but you just have to tip your hat to Tampa Bay. Yanni Chirinos was dealing today. He strikes out 5, walks 1 in 5 innings pitched, only allows 2 hits. And then Adam Kolarek pitches a solid 2 innings of relief, 1 1/3 innings of relief, allows 2 hits, 0 earned runs. Chaz Rowe, Castillo, and Jose Alvarado gets his 4th save on the year. Good out. Trevor Gott comes in. Good job in mop up. Good job in mop up today. Nick Vincent an earned run in 2 innings pitched. Melanson another scoreless frame. So maybe Melanson's starting to turn a corner. And yeah, the Giants dug themselves a hole early with Erasmo Diaz hitting a home run to left. It would be 1-0. Then former Giant in the 4th inning, Christian Arroyo gets revenge on the Giants, and it scores Kiermaier. It is 2-0, and Arroyo had a really good day for the Rays today, going 2 for 3. So Christian Arroyo contributing with the Rays, so maybe he might stick over there. And then Kiermaier scores on an error today, so that would Kiermaier scored, it just says, in the 8th inning. That would be all she wrote. The Giants held to just 5 hits today. And yeah, that's just stunk today. 12 strikeouts. Belt 0 for 3. He's got 3 home runs, but he's only hitting .229. Hara just at 200. Kratz at 100. Connor Joe, yesterday he finally gets a batting average at .067. Yeah, there's Youngurvis Solarte, the only hitter at 300. And, this could be a question coming up here with Panic. If Panic continues to struggle, might I dare say, could we see a potential platoon between Solarte and Panic? And honestly, that would not be the worst thing. I think something's got to give. Maybe you rotate in, get Solarte more reps at second base. That is something you may have to do to provide a spark to this team. With the outfield, Para not really hitting that great right now. Give it a couple weeks here, but but you have to see what's going on in Sacramento. If you got Mike Gerber, who is tearing the cover off the baseball in Sacramento in this last series. Still early on in AAA, but say by the end of the month, say Parra's not getting hits or Connor Joe is just time to pull the plug on him per se. Do you maybe start mulling the idea of a roster move like that? And yeah, I'd give it a month, but that's something that would I totally would not be opposed to if if the Giants continue to struggle the way they are at this point. You just have to maybe look 3-7's not a good spot to be. You're 4.5 games back. You can't, as I said in the last show, you can't win it all in April, but you can certainly lose it all. And I don't know how much. I don't want to say critical series against San Diego, but how much more of a hole can you dig if you're the Giants at this point before you start rendering the idea of roster moves? And yeah, I think that this is a garbage roster as it is. But yeah, Longo's down to $1.94, so I'll give it some more time. This is just the first home series, but the batting averages have to be concerning. Nobody's really hitting. And Duggar was 0 for 4 today. He was shut down. But this has just been the common theme for the Giants since 2016. And yeah, the Zaidi's been hired to change the culture, but at some point you may have to go with a roster move. I don't think we're there yet, but it might be time to really start paying close attention to who's doing well at the Sacramento River Cats right now and start paying closer attention to the minors at this point. And this is but you just have to tip your hats off to Tampa. They're 7-3 on the year. It's still early in the season, but it's starting to show me that Tampa is no fluke by any means. They are in it. I think this could be a good year for this might be. And with Boston struggling as bad as they are right now, could Tampa Bay actually be a wild card contender? That is, that one could be interesting to see the Rays be a wild card contender, and that they certainly look like a team that is proving themselves not to be a fluke, and you can't let your guard down against Kevin. And Kevin Cash, do the Giants maybe look at Kevin Cash to replace Bruce Bochy this offseason? I think Kevin Cash could get some considerations for a larger market team. So I'd honestly think that Cash is going to get some consideration for some of these larger market managerial vacancies at some point. So Cash is got to tip your hat. Kevin Cash is actually a really good manager, and these Rays I do not think are any fluke, and it's just too bad their fans don't come out to the games in Tampa. I think it's almost I would say a travesty. But now for the Giants, they now play the San Diego Padres for 3 games. Tomorrow night, it will be Madison Bumgarner going up on the mound. Going up against and this will be a 6:45 start tomorrow night at Oracle Park. It will be a rematch of the season opener, as it'll be Eric Lauer going up against Madison Bumgarner in Game One of the Padres and Giants. And the Padres at 6-4 on the year will. So the Giants are going to look for a little atonement against San Diego. And then in Game Two, it will be Joey Joey Lucchesi, who's really hot right now pitching wise. He still has yet to have an ERA, and with 13 strikeouts on the year, going up against Derek Hollins here, going against Joey Lucchesi in Game Two. So you got Derek Holland against Lucchesi in Game Two. And then in the matinee on Wednesday, there'll be no show Wednesday since it is a matinee game. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. That'll be a 12:45 game. To be determined, going up against Derek Rodriguez. Rodriguez would love to get back on track after getting roughed up in his last start. So Rodriguez looking for some atonement there. And then they will cap off the homestand later this week against the Colorado Rockies. They will play Colorado for, I think, 3 or 4. Let me see if it's 3 game or a 4 gamer. Colorado comes into town on Thursday, so that will be a 4 game series against the Colorado Rockies. That'll be from 8. So it'll be a 4 game, and Colorado getting off to a bit of a slow start on the year, and we'll get into that a little bit more in the MLB reach around. Then they will go on the road after that to the East Coast. They will play the Washington Nationals. They'll go to Washington, Pittsburgh, and Toronto on the road before heading back home to conclude the month of April. So, yeah, after this homestand, they do have an Eastern time zone roadie with Washington, Pittsburgh, and they go north of Toronto to play the Blue Jays. So that's what you're looking at your at a glance for the Giants. And yeah, I think San Diego. This is one where they really need to get a series win. They cannot afford. I think they need to get 2 of 3 out of this to. They can't get 6 or 7 games back of first place, and then especially with Colorado coming to town, who's owned the Giants the last few seasons, and then Colorado is, as I said, I don't think Colorado is going to be this bad all year. This is maybe a pause, but I don't think it's panic button time, and we'll get. But if they're not careful, the Giants could end up being the punching bags for the Rockies later on this week. So they need to. They really need to. I think this one's actually you don't normally say must wins in April, but I think this is a must win series for the Giants. They cannot afford to get into too much deeper of a hole, or yeah, I really think then you are starting to think the idea of the idea of roster moves and trades and stuff, and I just don't want to start thinking about that either, to be honest. Now on to the River Cats. Let's go down on the farm. Sacramento tomorrow will conclude a 5 game series against the Tacoma Rainiers at Raleigh Field before they head to the brand new ballpark in Las Vegas to play the Las Vegas Aviators. They are now the AAA affiliates of the Oakland A's, no longer the 51s. Then they will head to Salt Lake for 4 games against the Salt Lake Bees before heading back home to play both teams back at Raleigh Field beginning on April 16th. That's your at a glance there. And today in Sacramento today. Oh, cool! They redid the. And today down in Sacramento, the River Cats improved to 3-1 on the season, getting a win against the Tacoma Rainiers. Picking up the win is Pat Vendyke, Justice Sheffield taking the loss for the Rainiers. Kai Block started the game today, strikes out 4, allows 3 earned, 7 hits in 4 innings pitched. Sam Coonrod, a scoreless frame, so I think this was his first game as a River Cat, so good going for him. Henry Ramos goes 1 for 4 today. Stephen Vogt 1 for 4 in Sacramento. Mac Williamson 1 for 4 today. Vogt hits a home run off of Sheffield. And Green hit the home run. Slater playing first base. 0 for 3. Batting average drops to 200 on the year. But so far, so good for Sacramento. I've liked what I've seen thus far, and it looks like Mike Gerber got an off day, but Gerber's kind of been really hitting well in Sacramento the last. Gerber is really starting to look like I'm really starting to keep my eyes on Mike Gerber if they continue to, especially if the outfield continues to struggle the way they are. You might have to start thinking about calling up Mike Gerber at some point. He's really tearing the cover off the baseball at this point. And you might have to think of bringing up somebody from the minors just to. Connor Joe's just not cutting it at this point. But it looks like the recently waived Steven Okert, 3 earned last. Ray Black looking like he's going to earn another call up at some point. So there's. But you just have to maybe start paying close attention to Mike Gerber the next few weeks and see if he can keep swinging a hot bat here, especially with Parra struggling, Connor Joe struggling, and Pilar. They acquired him, but I think that he was just I think he's looking more and more like a bridge right now, and he's hitting in the bingo cards. Can he get on the interstate? But the bats just simply need to get right. The Giants bats just certainly need to get right in this San Diego series. They just need consistency. It's frustrating. But yeah, you just have to start looking. But so far, if you want to look at hopes, Sacramento's starting 3-1 on the year, so that's actually really good news. If you're so maybe you have to consider call ups here at some point if things don't get any better. That's what I'm looking at. Who's going to be the next man up? And it's looking like Mike Gerber could be that guy that maybe he's up for the show. He looked good in spring training, and I think they gambled on Reed and Joe, and they lost at this point thus far. But they're still. I'd probably say we'll find a lot out when they go on the Eastern Roadie. I think and that's where I'll go with on that point. But let's go with off the rails for today. And today's off the rail. I think I saw one I thought was off the rails. I saw something that I thought was off the rails worthy earlier. Oh yeah, this is the off the rails for today. Let's go get Craig Kimbrell. No, the Giants do not need Craig Kimbrell. He's too expensive, and we have a good closer anyway by the name of Will Smith. But there is certainly some other teams out there that could use a Craig Kimbrell. You know, Andrew Miller is not having the greatest of years right, not having the best success right now with the Cardinals. Do the Cardinals maybe take a look at Craig Kimbrell with their struggles? But we do not need Craig Kimbrell. That's a really off the rails statement for today. Now it is on to the MLB reach around. We will start in Philadelphia, where the Phillies beat the Twins 2-1. Zach Eflin taking the win, Jose Barrios taking the loss. In this one, Hector Neris gets his first save of the year. Rhys Hoskins going 2-for-4 for the Phillies. Now Phillies 6-2 on the year. In New York, it was the bomb squad. It was the Bombers bombed all over the Orioles today, 15-3. Domingo Germán takes the win, taking the loss. David Hess pounded for 4 earned in 5 innings pitched. And Alberto was the opener and surrenders 2 earned. Mike Wright comes in and surrenders 4 earned in 1 2/3 innings pitched. And then the recently signed Dan Straley comes in. 5 earned in 1 1/3 innings pitched. There'll be better days for Straley. And yeah, Baltimore, they've fallen back to earth to 4-5. The Yankees looking a bit better at 5-4. So like the Yankees took the Baltimore series to get right, and a lot of home runs. Yeah, 7 home runs in this game for the New York Yankees. There was one by Austin Romine. 3, that's right, 3 home runs by Gary Sanchez today. And he's now got 6 home runs on the season. Clint Frazier, 2 home runs. So and this was a 4-for-5 game for Clint Frazier. And then Gelbar Torres hits a home run in this one. Judge held hitless surprisingly in this game. But yes, it was definitely bombs away in Baltimore today for the New York Yankees. In Detroit, the Tigers beat the Royals 3-1, taking the win. Tyson Ross taking the loss. Brad Keller. Ross strikes out 8 in 7 innings pitched. Keller just didn't get any run support today. Whit Merrifield goes 3-for-4 for Kansas City. In Cleveland, the Indians beat the Blue Jays 3-1, taking the win. Mike Clevenger, who strikes out 10 in 5 innings pitched. Marcus Stroman taking the loss, 3 earned in 6 innings pitched. But at this rate, I think if Stroman can keep this up, he could end up being a nice trade chip for the Toronto Blue Jays at the deadline. Going 3-for-3 for the Indians today was Tyler Naquin, hitting a whopping 304 as of right now. So Cleveland, of course, finding ways to fill holes through the farm. In a slugfest in Queens today, the Nationals beat the Mets 12-9. Max Scherzer takes the win despite allowing 4 earned and 6 in the 3rd innings pitched, strikes out 7. Zach Wheeler taking the loss, 7 earned in 4 2/3 innings pitched. And unfortunately also 7 walks. You do not win too many games when you walk 7 batters, so that is not a good day. Jeff McNeil goes 2-for-3 in this one. And Wheeler, who's really having a bad year as of thus far. Still April though, but that 10.24 ERA is not all that wonderful. Luis Avilan, 3 earned in 1 inning pitched. Peterson, 2 earned in the third innings pitched. Matt Grace, 2 earned in 2/3 of an inning pitched. Joe Ross, 3 earned in 1/3 inning pitched. And a lot of hit batters in this game. Hansel Robles hit by or not Hansel Robles, but Robles hit by Avilan. Conforto hit by Scherzer. Jeff McNeil hit by. I wonder if there was benches warned in this game. No, just a lot. Okay, there was not really any intent. These just a lot of hit batters, and none of them were really intentional in that one. We'll get to another game in a minute where there was a little bit of a tit for tat. In Atlanta, the Braves beat the Marlins 4-3, taking the win. Aroldis Vizcaino taking the loss. Adam Conley. And Ozzy Albies going 2-for-4. Freddie Freeman 2-for-4. Dansby Swanson 2-for-4. Sean Newcomb, good outing, 7 innings pitched, 2 earned. So not bad there. Caleb Smith, 3 earned, 6 innings pitched. And Atlanta getting back on track after a slow start. In Pittsburgh, the Pirates beat the Reds 7-5. The Reds now 1-8 on the season, and that was not the only problem. Discafini takes the loss, 6 earned in 4 1/3 innings pitched. Chris Archer getting the win, but not without some fireworks in this one. Josh Bell going 2-for-3 for the Pirates today. Chris Archer also getting. And Melky Cabrera going 3-for-4 for the Pirates today. And this, as I said, this game had some fireworks to it in the. After Derek Dietrich had 2 bombs in this game for the Reds, and then one off of Kingham, but Archer took exception to one of the home runs Dietrich hit, and then Archer threw behind Dietrich, and that's when the bench is cleared. Archer gets ejected, along with Yasiel Puig trying to instigate a fight. Yeah. Yes, Puig's already trying to start shit in with his new team with the Reds. And with Puig's history, I think a suspension's almost a lock. But if the league wants to send a message, I think you suspend him for 5 games. I think there ought to be progressive discipline, and problem is this is Puig. Puig's had 2 incidents last year of him getting suspended, and he's a hothead. And his antics is why he got run off with the Dodgers earlier this year. The Dodgers got tired of his antics, and I think they are a lot happier team to be rid of to be rid of Yasiel Puig. I mean, and yeah, most of the Dodger fans I know did not like Puig. He's just a classless piece of shit who should not be in, who really needs to learn to control himself in baseball. And I think it's time for the league office to throw down the hammer and suspend him for 5 games, at least 5 games. What Archer did was very Bush League. 10 games. I think it's time to start throwing down the hammer. What I think is likely going to happen is maybe at the most Puig gets 3 games and Archer gets 7 or 8 games. But you got to start laying down the hammer if you want to clean up this beanball shit. And that was. But antics like this is why the Reds are 1-8, and poor David Bell. I think things are going to get better at some point, but no, he did not sign up, and I don't think David Bell could. And I think David Bell needs to have a nice sit down with Yasiel Puig about his temper, because at some point Yasiel Puig is going to find himself out of the league if he continues to do shit. This continues to start shit the way he is. He's becoming bad for baseball. And in Milwaukee, the Brewers beat the Cubs 4-2. Cubs fall to 2-7 on the year. Zach Davies getting the win. Kyle Hendricks taking the loss. 4 earned and 4 innings pitched. Christian Yelich going 2 for 3. Lorenzo Cain 2 for 5. Yelich with his 5th home run on the year. Ben Gamble, the recently acquired Brewer, 2 for 4. Milwaukee 8-2 on the year. Ben Zobrist 3 for 4 for the Cubs today. And yeah, 2-7. Yeah, Chicago needs to get it going soon, or Joe Madden's seat's going to get red hot. Well, it's already red hot as it is. It's going to get, or things could get really ugly in Chicago very soon. On our boys from the other side of the bay, the A's lose to the Astros 9-8, taking the win. Roberto Osuna and Blake Trainin taking a loss for once. And this is not a very uncharacteristic outing for first of all, his former team just feasted on Mike Fiers today for 6 earned in 1 2/3 innings pitched, walks 4 batters. Not your day, Mike Fiers. Then Blake Trainin comes in and uncharacteristically blows a save, walks 4 batters, allows an earned run, and just untrainin-like behavior today. Brad Peacock, not good today. 5 earned, 5 innings pitched. Josh James, 2 earned, 2 innings pitched for the Astros. Rondon, an earned run and 1 inning pitched. But yeah, the bats were going pretty well today. Bagley gets his first home run of the year. Robbie Grossman, his first home run as an Oakland A. Chad Pinder, his second home run on the year. Tony Kemp gets his first home run on the year. Former Fresno Grizzly Tony Kemp. Alexis Diaz gets his first home run on the season. A's fall to 6-7 on the year. The Astros back to 500. So the season's still young. In Chicago, the Mariners clobber the White Sox 12-5 today. Taking the win, Wade LeBlanc, Ivan Nova pounded for 7 earned runs in 2 1/3 innings pitched. Edwin Encarnacion going 3 for 3 with his second home run on the year. Danny Santana 2 for 3. Mike Smith 2 for 5. Daniel Vogelbach going 3 for 4 for the Mariners. And it was the Tim Anderson show for the White Sox, going 4 for 5 with his third home run on the season. And Ryan Burr, 2 earned. Chaz Fair, 2 earned and 1/3 of an inning pitched. Festa, 3 earned and 1 inning pitched. So White Sox fall to 3-5. Mariners 9-2 on the season. And in St. Louis, the Cardinals beat the Padres 4-1. Adam takes the loss for the Friars today. Yadier Molina, it was the senior circuit today, doing all the 3 for 4 for Molina, and also 2 for 4 from Colton Wong. Harrison Bader, 2 for 3. Andrew Miller, looks like he's out of the closer role for now. They're going with Jordan Hicks closing for the St. Louis Cardinals at this point, so they're already going closer by committee in St. Louis. Picks up his first save of the year. And yeah, Cardinals fans can rest easily for one night. They improved to 4-5 on the season. Down in the OC today, the Angels beat the Rangers 7-2 to take the win. Taking the win, Justin Anderson. Taking the loss for the Rangers is Shelby Miller, 4 earned in 2 innings pitched. Oh, I think it might be time for Shelby Miller to call it a career at this point. He just continues to get worse and worse on the mound every time he pitches. Blake Goodwin goes 2 for 3 for the Halos. Jonathan Lucroy 2 for 4. Mike Trout with his 5th home run on the year. Goodwin his first home run of the year. Mike Gallo his 4th home run on the year. And Mazzara going 2 for 3 for the Rangers. And then Kyle Bird, 2 earned in 2 innings pitched for Texas. And Chris Stratton, a little better of maybe not. Chris Stratton flat again, 2 earned in 4 innings pitched, walks 4 batters. So, his ERA at 6.48, not all that wonderful. Hopefully, we see better days for Stratton at some point. But luckily, the Rangers are not a good team, and the Halos were able to take advantage of it. And in the desert, the Red Sox beat the Snakes 1-0. Taking the win is Marcus Walden. Taking the loss is taking the loss for the Diamondbacks is Merle Kelly, who strikes out 9 in 8 innings pitched. And the Cardinals, not a lot of hitting there. 5 hits for the Red Sox, 3 hits for the Diamondbacks. And the big difference, a home run by Mitch Moreland wins the game. And currently on Sunday Night Baseball, it is the Dodgers. It is the LA Dodgers pounding the Colorado Rockies 12-5. And yeah, that's not good either. And Colorado now suddenly, I think they're now going to be 3-7 on the season. And is it time for Colorado to hit the panic button? We get to face the bad news is we get to face Colorado in a few games, and they're going to be looking to get right this week too. So pitching has definitely been a big issue for the Rockies this year. But we'll figure out. But I think they're going to right the ship at some point. I don't see them staying at the bottom for long, but I wonder though if if they start getting antsy and look to acquire a pitcher at some point, or start looking at signing a Dallas Keuchel in Colorado. So that is certainly, I think Colorado's Rockies fans have to be a little bit on edge, but there's still plenty of time, and I think Colorado could certainly turn it around. They've got the bats to turn it around, and just the pitching needs to be a little bit better in that one. All right, I'm going to call it a night here for your Sunday. This is I will be back on air tomorrow night after the Giants game, one of the Giants and the Friars. Everybody have a great Monday, and 90 wins, 90 losses. Forever Giant will be. Good night.